Hi everyone, this is Gail. I wanted to show you something. As you've heard in my other videos, I am trying to get my craft room organized. And one of the things that I have run into is a storage place for cards that I have already made. And I do have a drawer that I can put them in, but I wanted something to put the cards in before I put them in a drawer. And right now I don't have a lot of each type of card for each occasion. So what I thought I would do is make these little boxes. I happen to have a ream of the white Nina cardstock and a ream of the black. And it's 110 pounds, so it's very thick, and I'm finding that it's not the easiest to work with as far as cards. The people that use it for cards, I admire them, because I just struggle with the thicker cardstock. The 80-pound cardstock to me is much better. But I thought what I would do is show you how I made this box. It's very simple construction, but I thought if I made several of these in a generic color, and these are covered with pattern paper, if I made them in generic colors, then I could put like a little label on the side, maybe label this one Christmas and put a few little Christmas things on it, and then lay it in a drawer this way so that I will have boxes, and that way the cards will be enclosed in a box. Okay, here's some cards that I have made from last year. This is when I was just practicing, but I was happy with them. And you can see how well they just fit in this box. So just think how nice it would be. I guess I'll make this one, here's a small card. I think I'll make this my Christmas box. So what I would do is make a label or whatever here for the side, and I'll put Christmas, and I can put them in my drawer and line them up. And I thought this green and brown, or it's sort of a craft color, would look really good as just a good generic box. Very generic color. So you could put get well, or you could put happy birthday. So until I fill these boxes up, I think this will be the way I'll go. And they'll also make terrific gifts. If you make some cards, especially if you want to do an all-occasion card, you can put them all, fill this box up with all-occasion cards. You can decorate the top any way that you want, and it'd be a great gift. So I just thought I would show you, excuse me, I think I'm going to get choked, but I just thought I would show you, hello Frankie. My cat just came in case you heard him. Show you what I do. You're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. And you need to cut one. Let me open up my... Oh, okay. I wonder what was going on. I've got it upside down. Open up my Journey paper trimmer, which I absolutely love. I love the fact that this is very stable. It's level with the side. It measures in inches and centimeters. And then also they've got the marks here for your A2 size cards. This line that comes down here is at 4 1/4, and this line that comes down here is at 5 1/2. So it's just so easy to cut your cards. There's also a ruler around the middle, so you can make sure your cards are lined up. And if you don't trust these lines, at least you can have the ruler here. And it's just a great paper trimmer. But anyway, let me get back to this, because I'm using Fun Stampers Journey products, but I'm also using non-Fun Stampers Journey products. So like I said, I'm trying to get rid of but use my Nina cardstock. So the first 8 1/2 by 11 piece, I'm going to cut It's going to stay at 8.5, so this side will stay, and then we're going to cut at 9 3/4. And just trim. I'll save that. This might be one of my labels that I'll put on the side. So now this is 8.5 by 9 3/4. The other one is going to be 6 5/8 by 7 7/8. So let's do the 7 7/8 here. Okay. Don't ever throw away your scrap. 7 7/8, and this is going to be 6 5/8. Now that's all the cutting we need to do. And this does have a score blade for it. Let me just fold that back underneath. This does have a score blade, but because this is the 110-pound cardstock, I think I'm going to use a scoreboard to score these. Okay, the large one is going to be your bottom. The small one is going to be your top. So let me get out my scoreboard. And I just used the Martha Stewart scoreboard. And on the bottom, we're going to score at 2 inches all the way around. So just score at 2, and with this being a heavy cardstock, it may just go slowly. And then after I do it once, I go back a couple more times because it is the thicker cardstock. And then just turn it and then do 2 inches. So you see, this is very simple. See, I keep jumping. It's the only problem with the thick cardstock, trying to score it. It just goes slowly, so if you jump, you can fix it real quick. And again, 2 inches. And this is the only scoring you need to do on this, on the bottom. Now you'll do the same thing on the top, except you're going to score at 1 inch all the way around. So just turn it a quarter turn and do a 1 inch again. Quarter turn, 1 inch. And quarter turn and 1 inch. And we will be finished with their scoring. See, I told you this was a very simple project. So we put all of our big things away. Okay, so I know it's hard to see because it's white, but I just want, I maybe should have used the black, but I am going to use my scissors, and these are just craft scissors, and I'm going to cut on the long side. I'm going to cut, sorry, I had something stuck on my scissors, just up to this first score mark, coming from each side. and then trim. And actually what I should have done, and I'll stop and do that now, is go ahead and fold all of these. Let me fold these. Fold and score, or fold and crease on all of your score lines. You see, because I cut this, it's going to be a little bit harder, but I managed to get it done. So that's all done. And let me do the same while I'm in that mode. Just fold and score all 4 sides. And that's really all the folding you need to do. Now let me get back here. And again, on the long side, and it doesn't really matter which side, I just chose the long side, but trim up to the score line, and then just kind of cut a little triangle, little wedge out, so that this will be easy to fold and it won't get in the way. And I did it on that one. So let me do this on all 4, well, not all 4, on each side. Make sure they're opposite each other. And just cut that little triangle out. Doesn't have to be exact or any particular size, just enough to give you room to fold. Now what I'm going to do, just looking at it, because I want to make sure this sticks, I'm going to use some score tape, and I'm going to put it on all 4 corners. And I like to use my crease tool to tear it, because you get a little bit of a straighter tear. And then while you've got your crease tool, you can burnish it, which makes it easier to come off. And you put the tape on all 4 tabs. Tab, and we'll be done with the tape on the bottom anyway. You could use a glue runner or an ATG, but I just feel more secure using something a little bit more, or a little bit stronger to hold these tabs to, in, because they'll be getting a lot of use. And that is the end of taping on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the paper off of this tab. I'll take the whole, off both sides. Or maybe I'll do the long side. I'll do the long side. I'm not sure which side would be the best way to start. So let me try on the long side, and if it doesn't work, then I'll know I need to start doing it per tab. But what you're going to do is fold this back just a little bit more than normal so you can line up these corners. And when they're lined up, then just press that in. Let me show you again. Press this in so it doesn't stick yet. Line up your corner. And then you can take your crease tool and just make sure it's attached well. Now let's do the same thing over here. Let's remove this tape. I don't know why I keep trying to do it from the bottom. It's much easier to do it from the top, and I start at the bottom every time. I don't have any fingernails. And that's not scored very well. Sometimes if you don't press down on this all the way to the end, it's a little bit hard to pull apart. Anyway, let me fold both of these in and line up my corner. This gives you a really nice corner. And then just press it down, make sure it's stuck well. And there's your bottom. Now, I'm showing this as the construction of the box undecorated. And I will decorate this for you, but it is much easier to decorate when it's flat like this before you get started with anything. But I haven't cut the pieces to decorate it with, so I'm going to go ahead and just do the construction on the box. But you do exactly the same thing here as you did on the bottom. Cut your tabs in the little V. And there is our box. Now we'll decorate it. Okay, I think I've chosen this paper just because I like the flowers, and Easter is coming and I'll be making some Easter cards. It's also good for birthdays. It's also double-sided, so I can use both sides of this and know that the colors will coordinate. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, let's see, for the bottom, which is the big end of the box, I'm going to cut two pieces that are 5 5/8 by 1 7/8, and two pieces that are 4 3/8 by 1 7/8. And yeah, I think that will work. So I'm going to take out my scoring blade from my trimmer. And I don't need to open up the ruler because this will cut to 6.5 inches without having to open up the ruler. So let's see, 5 5/8. Let's cut that first, since that's my largest measurement. So that's 5 5/8, so I need two that are 1 7/8. So 1 7/8 is right there. And I can line it up down here, the 1 7/8, and up there, so I know that my line is going to be straight. So there's 1. And 7/8. So there's 2. I could have done it on the other side. I'm just used to working on that side. So there's my two that are 5 5/8 by 1 7/8. Now I need a 4 3/8. Four and 3/8. Let's do it this way. It's going to be a piece of scrap. So now these are 4 3/8 by 1 7/8. And I'll show you how you can do it on this side. I just prefer the other side. You line it up with the 1 7/8 right there. And then cut. But I just prefer working over here where I have more space. And over here I can I just see better. You can do it whichever way you want. So there's two. So these are the sides for the top. And I'll set those aside. And now, let's see, I need to cut this down now to 4 1/2. Well, that just happens to be 4 1/2. Okay, so I've got 4 1/2, and I'll do this just 7/8 of an inch. And this might be easier to do on this side. Line it up to 7/8. And line it up to 7/8. So these are going to be the short sides. I know where I went wrong. I was thinking there was something I was doing wrong, and I was. I should have cut the longer sides first, but I've still got this paper. So I need 5 3/4. So let me do 5 3/4. And then I'll be cutting 7/8. All right, so those are the sides for the top. And now I'm going to make a layer for the top, and I think what I'll do is I'll use this and then layer this on top of it. I think that would look better than doing that. Or both of them look good, but I think I'm going to stick with the floral. I think I'll do that. Okay. So your first layer is going to be 5 3/4, which should be this one. Let me measure this. That's 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. If this is 4 1/2, then I will have ended up 2, 3, 4, 4 1/2. Here is my base card. How about that? That turned out well. I'll probably never do that again. And then I'll cut the second layer at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let me cut the 5 1/2. You see me reaching around. I am putting my scraps in a box that I keep over here. by 4 1/4. And let me just line this up, make sure it's cut properly. Yep, it's good. Okay, so let me put my score blade back in here. If I were scoring this paper, I would use the scorer on my trimmer. And first, before I do anything, I'm going to use my ATG gun. And I'm going to go ahead and put my layers together. And I always go one down the middle. And I kind of missed the edge here, so I'm going to get over a little bit closer to the edge. The only problem with trying to do videos, you're working further away than you normally would, and you can't see what you're doing. Should have lined it up better. But this is just going to be a very tiny little, like an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Well, I just messed that up. So there's going to be the panel for the top. And that will fit on here. Let me go ahead and do that while I'm doing it. I'm going to still use my ATG gun. Let me see if I can get closer to the edge this time. And this will also have a very small edge, about 1/8 of an inch. Just try to get it lined up best as you can. And there's the top of my box. So while I'm working on the top, let me go ahead and do these. So with the other box, and I didn't think about it. My other box, I changed the, whoops. I changed this orientation of the paper. See what I mean about it being much easier before you put this down, before you put it together. But I will do my best. A little piece of tape. There. So I think what I'll do, let me see how this will look. Put the green on the sides. Yeah, I think that'll work. And what I did was I alternated. You can see here where I have the brown at the top, I use the green at the bottom, and then over here I use the green at the top and the brown at the bottom. So I'm going to try that with this and see how this works with the flowered paper. And you can use your wet glue, you can use your score tape, you can use whatever. But the outside of the box isn't going to get as much use as the inside of the box. Whoops, I let that go too quick. Well, it doesn't look too bad. This is just for filing, right? But just use whatever you have on hand. whatever you prefer to use. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better going from the end. Fold in any tape that sticks out. There you go. So my top is done. Let's do the bottom. And let's see, the long sides I want to have the blue up. So it seemed to be a little bit easier to do it from the end. Well, it looks like I didn't trim my paper right. And it's already stuck down, so I'm kind of stuck with it going all the way to the edge. But let me see what the other side looks like. Should have checked it before yep, it's just a little bit long. I must have not measured correctly. So this probably wasn't the best example for me to be showing you how to do this box, because you're seeing all of my mistakes. All right, in the ends, I'm going to put the flowered side up. Maybe I should measure that before I go too. That looks okay. Sorry I got quiet. It's what happens when I start thinking sometimes. But there, I've got all the sides on. Here's my finished box. Isn't that pretty? So nice for spring, and I like the alternating the colors. So that's not too bad. I kind of like that. I think it's pretty with the flowers. So I'll put all of the measurements in the comment section below or in the description below so that you can see that. And I may even put this on my blog. So yeah, you can get the measurements either way. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make your own boxes. You know, make your craft room pretty. So I'll sign off for now. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.